Hello everyone and welcome back to game week 1 of the 2025-26 Slater and Gordon Premiership, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, alongside John Dixon for a fantastic fixture. Teesside PFC versus Villa Rockets. Let's go through the squads quickly before I talk about their form from yesterday and today. And we bring you the action live. Teesside comprised of Ed Common, Mitch Tinkler, Tyler Reeve and Alistair Hay, as was the case yesterday without Dylan Pearson and Greg Baxter. So if they're going to secure the win here, they have to do it with that quartet currently to the right of your screen. Villa Rockets with a fantastic win earlier today against GBG Knights. They have Nicky Baker, Bobby Allen, Dave Lewis, Hamza Madir, Kieran Burns, Rosie Hodgson and Amir Ali. Let's show you the live league table quickly. There has been so much drama, so much action going on here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. Greenbank beating Leeds PFC in the absolute dying embers of the match. We had controversy between Sevenoaks and Newcastle. It is so exciting, and from the mutual perspective, I just hope it continues. As you can see, Aspire top the table with 10 points from their 4 games. I bet you was happy that Leeds dropped points earlier, John.
Yeah, that definitely helps us there. That suited us well, that scoreline. But
as you can see from your screens, there's almost... Teesside have obviously played 2 games fewer than the teams above them. There's 2, maybe 3 distinctive packs. You've got Sevenoaks, Middlesbrough, Muscle and GBG Knight, all pointless after 3, 4 or 2 games. And then you've got the title challengers. There's some in the middle. It's so fascinating. And I truly believe this division, anyone can beat anyone on their given day. That being said, that task when you're talking about Teesside is far easier said than done, because I had the pleasure of watching both of their games yesterday, and my God, were they good. 7-0 win over Throssels, 6-0 win over GBG Knights. It's not just the scorelines, it's the manner in which they get those results, playing free-flowing, attacking football, scoring some absolutely sensational goals. Give me your predictions and thoughts on this one, John.
Well, I think, based on what I've seen from Teesside so far, they're just a team with power, accuracy. They've got so much finesse and skill to their play. I mean, it's great to see them play football like this in our league. But yeah, I think it might be a tricky task, this one, for Villa. I think, you know, they beat GBG Knights last time out, so they're on the up, but I think they'll be a little bit disappointed with how they've got on so far. Obviously, it takes time for new additions like Rosie Hodgson to gel into their squad, but I think this will be probably a routine victory for Teesside. I reckon probably a 4-1 here for Teesside.
Very interesting. Would you see Teesside as your biggest competitors for that Premiership title?
Yeah, definitely themselves and Leeds are the 2 that I see as big competitors. I
tell you what, we can't write off Greenbank after what they've done.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, that them as well, you know, they've done really well this weekend so far. Like, they've been right up there.
Thank you to everyone that's tuning in. I can see our Isaac Murray and Greg Baxter, Teesside affiliates, in the chat cheering on their team. Isaac Murray will be back here in a couple of weeks to hopefully ensure Teesside still are playing their football in the Premiership come 26-27. But this should be fascinating. Getting ready to kick off on Court A, West Bromwich Albion against Muscle Warriors. At the conclusion of game week 1, we will be running a series of awards now proudly sponsored by Swizzles. Player of the weekend, unsung hero of the weekend, team of the weekend and fantasy team of the weekend. So get your votes in so you can shine a spotlight on those top performers, many of which are lining up on this court. Good to see Thomas Met, David D, Jay Pixton all tuning into the action. Get your predictions in the chat. This is the tried and tested four which secured Villa their first win of the season. I have to say, Dave Lewis was absolutely incredible in that fixture against GBG Knights. GBG Knights asked a lot of questions of Villa, it must be mentioned. As Mitch Tinkler just comes off the back of his chair. He scored 5 yesterday.
He's such a great talent, Mitch Tinkler. You know, he's got all the attributes you need to be a great player.
Yeah, 5 in a single game against GBG Knights, 2 in their win over Throssels, as it just cushions off that right-hand poster to go through the full squads. Teesside have Alistair Hay, Tyler Reeve, Mitch Tinkler and Ed Comment. As mentioned, no substitutes, so there will be no changes, assuming none of them get sent off, that is. And Villa have Hamza Midir, Amir Ali, Dave Lewis and Rosie Hodgson. Rosie Hodgson into the box, over to Dave Lewis. That's where we saw them have success against GBG Knights. They were absolutely clinical at those corner balls, whether it's Dave Lewis supplying Rosie Hodgson or Rosie Hodgson supplying Dave Lewis. Every time they had one, they had opportunities. 2-1 prediction for Villa. You'd get good odds for that, Rich. Teesside haven't lost a game in a very long time in the National League Premiership. Switch of play, lovely, cute football. Rosie Hodgson, her arc is too wide and it probably had too much pace, but I think already in the 2 minutes we've played, Teesside being asked questions that neither of their former opponents have been able to. See Jake Hudson tuning in. Love it when we've got championship players looking at the level above, looking at where they could potentially play their football in seasons to come.
Decent start so far for Villa here, putting a bit of pressure on Teesside.
Yeah, absolutely. Three-0 prediction for Teesside, with the prediction of Ed Common being involved in all 3. He was incredible, and I've said it on commentary at the time, and I'll reiterate now. I think they've already got a goal of the season contender. I think their 3rd goal against GBG Knights, as Hamza Madi had space over to Rosie Hodgson, finds the gap as Alistair Hayes smashes into Tyler, even though he just can't adjust it, ricochets off the left hand post. How that didn't go in, I don't know. Pete Westmoreland just communicating with the official as the players are told to go away. Looked almost a clear goal.
I
don't think that was a goal. It went dead over the line, which designates the side of the goal post. And I was almost questioning the engagement of Hamza Midir in terms of how he opted to strike that ball. And Rosie Hodgson with the clearest goal-scoring opportunities she's ever likely to have, but just put so much power on her rotation, and it fired into that post. That is a real let-off for Teesside.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite how that stayed out, that one. That was a good start here from Villa. That was a really nice move there.
It really was. Wow, talk about a frantic start to a game.
Yeah.
Villa have been fantastic.
Yeah, great game so far. I think Hamza Midir has really settled into this game really quickly.
He's a player I rate so highly, Hamza Midir.
Yeah, just his development has been so good in recent seasons. He's just really turned into such a dominant player in that middle role.
I think it's only his 3rd or 4th season competing in the Premiership, or the National League as a whole for that matter. And he's got such a high ceiling and will no doubt bounce off the experienced heads around him now. Teesside are yet to break into the Villa half as Ed Common just swipes it towards the goal in which he's aiming towards.
Yeah, just struggling to find their rhythm so far.
Hamza Midir to take. Reeve. Cut out by Dave Lewis. Of course, John, this is Teesside's first game of the day. The second is against yourself. Almost a 6-point affair at the top of the table in Gameweek One. Give me your thoughts ahead of that one.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, I think, a close game, that one. Definitely, it's going to be a tricky game in points in it. I think it'll be relatively even. I think there'll be lots of nice passing going on. I think we both play a similar sort of style, so I can't see there being too much in that one.
They obviously have bragging rights over you, having won twice last season.
Yeah, we definitely want to do a little better against them this season. It was quite tricky last season against them, but we definitely feel prepared and ready for the game.
Across the box to Mitch Tinkler. He finds the goal, arguably against the run of play, but that's what they do so well. They can absorb pressure. And I spoke about the proficiency of Villa when it comes to set pieces. Teesside are the masters of it. And Mitch Tinkler, I think, gets his 8th goal of the season. 6.5 minutes in, Teesside 1, Villa 0.
Yeah, they've hardly had the ball, Teesside, but it's just devastating set pieces they've got, just able to pick Villa off there.
Sign of a champion, isn't it? Just to get the job done, irrelevant of performance.
Yeah, they can always find a way, Teesside.
Will we go back to that Rosie Hodgson chance as a really significant moment come the conclusion? One in which Villa could have taken the 1-goal advantage, should have taken the 1-goal advantage. How differently will this game play out now? Last season's Young Player of the Season, Mitch Tinkler, looking to ensure that he matches or exceeds those levels we saw in 24-25. Another knocking on the door of the England development squad.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be in contention for that, I would think.
I know another player who should be in that squad as well. Can you guess who, John?
Well, I think I'll let you say. What do you think?
I think you are the next in line to be knocking on the door. The levels you've shown over the last 3-4 months particularly.
Yeah, it'd definitely be nice that. I feel like definitely my game has really improved recently with the guidance of everyone at Aspire. It's been great how much I've been able to improve. So yeah, it's just been great development.
I think that's an understatement to say you've just improved. You've completely transformed your game. And you will play a big part in any Aspire success this season. That's Rosie Hodgson, your former teammate, dispossessed by Tyler Reeve. Strong play from Amir Ali. Just to barge Reeve out the way. Just readjusts. It's disappointing from Tyler Reeve. Just snapped at it. I'm not quite sure what the intent was. There was no options to the left-hand side. Whether he was just trying to fire it into the box full power to then play off the rebound. Good pick-off from Tyler Reeve on that occasion. Over to Mitch Tinkler. Hamza Midir covering the near post. West Bromwich Albion a goal up against Muscle Warriors on court A. Tyler Reeve to take the resulting corner ball into the box, over to Ed Common.
Oh, close.
Every time they have an attacking set piece, they seem to link up, find one another.
It's definitely something we're noticing, I'd say, in the league so far. An awful lot of set pieces being scored, I would say.
It's a big shift we've seen in the sport as a whole, is teams really focusing on those set pieces now. Teesside came up with some really innovative ones yesterday. Over to Mitch Tinkler. I think Ed Common too close to Tyler Reeve on that occasion. There was one set piece yesterday whereby all 4 Teesside players surrounded a single ball in almost a cross fashion, and then at the last second all reversed to different directions. It was very unique, didn't amount to any success, but it shows they have a number in their arsenal.
Yeah, I think definitely with the development of the sport, and I would say teams are definitely more evenly matched now. It's finding those fine margins with set pieces, definitely trying to outwit the opposition.
Dave Lewis trying to switch the play. Ricochets off of the back wheel of Rosie Hodgson, who's desperately trying to keep that in, unable to do so. But I echo comments in the chat. Teesside are so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, they're definitely properly settled into this match now.
Yeah, they weathered an early storm. Since that, Villa haven't really had any chances.
Ed Common on a little run here.
Reeve trying to push it over to Mitch Tinkler. Very congested. Rosie Hodgson has to back off. She does so with just enough time. Tyler Reeve into the front bumper of Ed Common. The pace, relatively speaking, not as intense as other games where I've watched Teesside. I think they're just managing that intensity ahead of what they will certainly perceive to be their toughest test against Aspire later today. Because they're so thin on numbers, not going to want to overexert themselves. That said, Aspire also fairly thin as well. The absence of Tom Kelly means you have to adjust.
Yeah, definitely. Tom's had a little bit of an illness, so we're without him for today. But yeah, we've definitely got some cover within the squad, so cover for these situations as well. But Tom will definitely be missed in the side.
Lovely feint from Tyler Reeve, just to bypass Rosie Hodgson like she's not there. Flicked out to Mitch Tinkler. It just takes a touch off Hamza Madir. Dave Lewis with a very busy job of just trying to put himself in those passing lanes. Across the box to Mitch Tinkler, cleared by Amit Ali. It's already been mentioned, a couple more for Mitch Tinkler. We'll see him on 10 goals. To say you've got that accumulation after one game week, God knows what he could do across the entirety of the season.
Yeah, such a great start for him in the first weekend, that.
I've said if Teesside are going to retain the Premiership crown, all of those players have to match, if not exceed, last year's levels. And Mitch Tinkler showed he's up for the task, certainly in what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the league being even closer this season. Just the levels just keep on improving year on year.
Not that we ever track XG, expected goals, in Powerchair football, but Mitch Tinkler's so efficient in terms of, I'd love to see the conversion of shots to goals, because I think it would be incredibly high. Never overly forces it, and obviously is on the end of such world-class service. Pushes it into Ed Common's path, blocked by Rosie Hodgson. Dave Lewis again, so busy trying to disrupt the rhythm into the 180, blocked by Hamza Madir.
It was great to see the way that Mitch Tinkler decided to just adjust his chair at the last minute there.
Trying to understand what the decision is from Pete Westmoreland. Placed down for a Teesside ball. Must have been a 2-on-1. We see one of those innovative set pieces.
It's always interesting to see what Teesside are going to come up with.
Keep an eye on Mitch Tinkler. I know they're almost shaping up for a boom, but I think he's going to be the recipient of a potential ball, which he is. Over the box, blocked by Hamza Madir. Not before. A bit of heavy contact from Amir Ali to close that gap. Switch to Ed Common. Very condensed, compact. 2-on-1, inevitable. And Villa able to have a little bit of a break.
It was all about the deception there, as in our chairs we're not able to lift the ball off the ground, so it can be all about deception sometimes, and that was just a great example of that there.
Exactly. Good officiating. There was 50-50 coming together between Tyler Reeve and Dave Lewis, but play continued. I love them contact advantages, or just play continuing when referees don't listen to the noise and the metal on metal. They go on what they see. Mitch Tinkler. That'll play for a goal kick. Approaching the final minute of this first half. I'd say quietly efficient from Teesside. They weathered that storm early on, and since then, I don't think Alistair Hay has had a single involvement. But they're yet to create anything that you would say is a clear goal scoring opportunity beyond that opener.
No, I think Villa definitely have a good defensive shape here. I just think Teesside are just still working out how to draw them out of position here.
Hamza Madir trying to switch play, couldn't get the timing to set Rosie Hodgson away. A late corner and another set piece. Even now it's an unorthodox setup. Keep an eye on Ed Common to see where he goes to Mitch Tinkler, who just tries to cushion it USA style into the goal. They're constantly experimenting and trialing different things.
you would think it would be difficult for them to remember all these different set pieces, but they definitely know what they're doing.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I'd love to know what names they associate to them, or numbers, something to distinguish between each of the different utilisations of set pieces, because you have to have something to differentiate. Played the regulation 20, now into additional time.
Maybe one last chance here for Teesside.
Yeah, very potentially.
Nice work here from Tyler Reeve.
Villa clearly sacrificing any sort of attacking intent for this defensive stability. Just trying to make sure that they go into the break with just a goal against them. And that signals the end of the first half. Villa came flying out the traps. Could have, should have gone 1-0 up. And following that, Teesside just grew in confidence and managed to find the opener once again via Mitch Tinkler. Thank you to all that are tuning in, to myself and John Dixon. We'll be back very shortly for the second half. Hello everyone, welcome back. Teesside versus Villa Rockets. Second half, game week 1 of the 25-26 Slater and Gordon Premiership. You join myself, Ryan Sipple, alongside John Dixon for the action live. Teesside in the ascendancy. They have that 1-goal advantage via Mitch Tinkler. And you suspect they're going to look to build on that foundation in this second. Villa did have their chances in the first 5-6 minutes, but following that, it's been fairly one-way traffic. Give me your assessments, John.
Yeah, I think it took a little bit of time for Teesside to settle into that first half. I think Villa started the better in that first half. I think once Teesside got the goal, they definitely settled into the half. But I think it was relatively evenly matched, that first half.
Yeah, it's certainly not vintage Teesside that we've come to expect. Quietly efficient is how I characterised it. Getting the job done, even if it isn't to the normal, fairly astronomical height that they've set themselves. Villa looking to combine. Took a slight touch off a common, which meant Rosie Hodgson wasn't able to get the clean connection she would have wanted. Thank you again to everyone that's tuning in. Very active comment section. Comes Amadir into Rosie Hodgson. Across the box. 2-1 in favour of Villa. Can they make it count?
Yeah, let's see what Villa can conjure up here.
I think it'll be played into the 180 of Dave Lewis. Looking for goal or looking for Rosie Hodgson, if I was to predict it. No. That's exactly what it is. Into the right post. But the problem is, if I can predict it, the Teesside defenders can predict it. So no real threat. Down the centre, finds Ed Common, not before 2-on-1 awarded in Teesside's favour. I think there is an apology from the referee because they were advancing up the court. Cleared by Hamza Madir. There's a set piece very similar to this that gave them the opener. The initial delivery from Tyler Reeve. Ed Common just acts as kind of a screen. He's telling Mitch Tinkler to go back, who's going to receive it at the back post. Looks for the gap between the two defenders. And Ed Common again looking to act as that screen, that dummy, but Tyler Reeve was getting back desperately to support centrally. Dave Lewis to Hamza Madir. Ed Common. 5 metres not observed by Dave Lewis.
Seems to have started in similar fashion to the first half, I would say, so far.
Yeah, it's certainly more open. Villa having a little bit more success and territory amongst the Teesside half, but again, Alistair Hay yet to really be involved as Mitch Tinkler pushes it over to the alternate wing, but no blue shirt there to capitalise. Ed Coleman just working his way round the box.
Just trying to create the right sort of angle for himself here.
Yeah, interestingly, both his attacking teammates very deep. Tyler Reeve now presents, who receives beautiful play, ricocheted into that left-hand post. 2-on-1 awarded.
It was a 2-on-1 there, but it's great to see how Teesside can just go from a pass and just suddenly they speed up the game so quickly.
All stemmed from the use of Tyler Reeve's front bumper. So brave, so strong in just driving onto that ball with full power. It's another interesting initial starting setup as Mitch Tinker looks to take a position between Hamza Madir and Amit Ali. Tyler Reeve blocked by Hamza Madir, sets Rosie Hodgson away. A lot of pace on it. It's unlucky for her. The right intent, the right motion. And due to the nature of that quick break, Teesside weren't able to allow for 3 metres. 2-on-1 in Villa's favour.
Definitely starting to open up now for Teesside.
Corner ball. This is an opportunity. You say that for most corners and set pieces, but Ed Common now coming over to take, as opposed to Tyler Reeve. Into Mitch Tinkler, sight at goal, blocked by Amir Ali. Tyler Reeve with a follow-up effort, pushes it into the path of Tinkler. Very high prevalence of 2-on-1s. Yeah, another set piece, which is not too dissimilar to the one they did yesterday. Into Mitch Tinkler, didn't have the angle to favour a really nice shot on goal. Don't think Dave Lewis observed 5 metres.
It's so difficult to tell what Teesside are going to do with their free kicks. I mean, they're just so good at making sure the opposition aren't aware of what they're trying to do.
Tyler Reeve. This doesn't come off on that occasion. Interestingly, I don't think it would have come off even if Ed Common had connected or been positioned better, because he wasn't turning into it. So it was only ever going to use the momentum generated by Tyler Reeve. And because of how far away the goal and Mitch were in that situation, I doubt it would have yielded any success. But they've got the goal advantage to experiment, but it's not as comfortable as they probably would have liked. Blocked into Rosie Hodgson. It's so condensed. There's a tendency for Dave Lewis and or Rosie Hodgson to occupy a very similar position. They're kind of putting all their eggs in one basket to minimise damage, and I said it in the first half, it's more they're happy to sacrifice their attacking output for defensive stability, which is all well and good when it's 0-0, but when they're chasing a game, you wonder at one point, will they throw caution to the wind and maybe commit players forward in pursuit of that equaliser? 6 goals now on court A. West Bromwich Albion 4, Muscle Warriors 2. I think West Brom being very brave in their utilisation of the 4-out system. Ed Common. Hansa just hasn't been able to get those angles on the pass to set away one of his wingers. Ed Common just taking 90% out of the power of his rotation, playing it off Dave very sensibly. Alistair Hay hasn't had a touch, has he?
I don't think he has at all yet.
Nice feint from Tyler Reeve. Getting a little bit more territory in the Villa half. And if you are the likes of Aspire, Leeds or other Greenbank, you're probably taking some positives from this performance.
No, I think Villa have definitely found a way to frustrate Teesside.
Is that the blueprint that other teams need to follow? Because Teesside are the benchmark. They showed that last season. Very few chinks in their armour. But Teesside haven't had it their own way. Villa have dealt with the set pieces beyond that goal, of course. And their open play football hasn't been nearly as effective as we've come to expect.
I would definitely say definitely quite congested, so there isn't much room for Teesside to work with. I would think that would have probably been Villa's game plan from the start of this match.
Tyler Reeve. Flick to Rosie Hodgson. Only as far as Ed Common. Trying to weave past the Villa number 26. Going to be engaged by Hamza Madir. Just a few flicks of his joystick just to try and feint. Hamza Madir was almost looking him dead in the eyes then. It's a master manipulator. He's so good to watch, isn't he, Ed Common?
Yeah, he's a player that he definitely always makes the right decision. It's tricky to know what he's going to do. And he's one of the best at deception, so it's quite hard for defenders to read what he's going to do. There's no way of telling. He's definitely one of my favourite players to watch, just the way he controls the ball and the game. Just great to see.
Oh, he's going to try and work a set piece here with Tyler Reeve, who's wanting 5 metres to be observed by Rosie Hodgson, who plays right on that line. Clearly wants it in his 180. It's like a few signs of frustration there from Tyler Reeve. Tyler Reeve. Villa certainly being braver now. Committed players forward and Pet's away. Dave Lewis, that's a crucial interception from Alistair Hay. I'm pretty sure that is his first touch of the second half. And what an important one it proved to be.
opportunity here for Villa.
Very much so. Can they take it? It would be against the run of play, but all that matters is the scoreline come the conclusion. Doesn't matter how they get their point, as long as they get them. As Hamza Madir into the 180. Well, it appeared to be the 180 of Dave Lewis, and a shot, a goal. Rosie Hodgson follows it up. Alistair had that right-hand post covered. That's bright from Villa. Asking a lot of questions of that Teesside defence. To Edcommon. No options there for Hamza Madir. Tinkler into Common. That's better. That's more trademark Teesside. Getting those triangles going. The only real time I recall them doing it this game as Alistair Hay just controls that with his back wheel, invites the pressure of Dave Lewis. It's been a definite shift in Villa's intent. Kept in by Tyler Reeve. Goes out for a Villa ball.
Yeah, let's see what they can come up with here. Definitely putting Teesside under a bit of pressure here.
It's good to see. They've taken this game into the last few minutes with a point still up for grabs.
Yeah, not quite been at their vintage self here, Teesside, but I'm sure if it stays as it is, they'll just see it as a just sort of one of those gritty performances.
Yeah, I mean, if they come away with a 1-0 win, it's still 3 wins from 3. It's still, what, 15 goals scored, none conceded in the lead up to Aspire. Fantastic form, and we're seeing yourself Aspire, West Brom, Greenbank, and now Leeds. They've all dropped points across the weekend. So I'm sure it won't matter to see Teesside a great deal as long as they come away with maximum points.
Yeah, it's definitely left the door open, I'd say, near the top of the table with a few draws and that.
Across the box, across the face of goal. And Rosie Hodgson, just don't think she anticipated that ball reaching her. She was far deeper than she typically is. It would have been a lot to ask of her to be able to capitalise and meet that ball, but still, it's a dangerous opportunity that Villa have been able to create very late on. 38 minutes gone. Teesside 1, Villa 0. Not quite the 4-1 prediction that you said, John.
No, definitely not.
We have to give Villa credit, don't we? They've been fantastic defensively.
Yeah, they've definitely come up with a system in this game that's really been able to nullify the attacking threats of Teesside.
Just didn't seem to phase Edcommon there. The side swipes from Dave Lewis. Amirali just coming to close the space and the angle. That would allow Edcommon to generate the power. Final minute, John, give me your player of the match.
I would say I'd have to give it to Mitch Tinkler in this one for the only goal of the game. I think that could be the difference in that one. So I think I'll give it to Mitch Tinkler, and also his involvement in the game has definitely been crucial as well.
I don't disagree in the first half, but he's had very few touches in this second. Been very isolated. For that, we have to give credit to Hamza Madir and Amir Ali. Tyler Reeve just making his way through. Receives a little nick on the way, putting it into this top corner.
It's just where Teesside would want the ball at this point.
Yeah, exactly that. No jeopardy, no risk. It's good work from Amir Ali. As we now tick over into additional time. Guided goal bound from Common. Feints Dave Lewis. Teesside ball. Taken by Ed Common. Across the box by Mitch Tinkler. Whistle in the mouth for Pete Westmoreland. And that signals the end of the game. A professional performance, you would say, from Teesside. It wasn't vintage, but they maintain their unbeaten record. And that sets up a mouth-watering clash with Aspire later today. A huge thank you to everyone that's tuned in. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you,
Wish
Ryan.
you luck ahead of your game against the champions.
Yeah, thank
this
you.
afternoon at 5 minutes past 3.